Hi, I'm Ken, and welcome to Addy's Adventures, where you get to go on a journey, one step at a time. Alright, let's get on with today's video. Alright, so we're here at Mount Nebo, famous for where Moses looked over the Promised Land. So there is a church here that was built by the Franciscans in the early 1900s. When they were doing that, they discovered all these mosaics and that from the Byzantine era. So in this sort of area here, there's a legend, the Book of Love Among Nations monument. There's an interpretation centre, a view of Moses Springs, which I'll show you, a view of the Holy Land, the Brazen Serpent Monument, Memorial of Moses with its mosaics, and the olive tree that Pope John Paul II planted. So first, let's have a look down to Moses Springs. I sort of did try to get down there, but they were grading the road and it got a little bit hairy. So that's Moses Springs down there. And sort of, you can say, it's quite a beautiful spot down there. But that's all the olive trees. The olive trees that you see here planted back in the Byzantine era, and they're classed as holy relics as well. So let's go for a wander up and see what there is to see at Mount Nebo. Quite a holy place for Christians. So what we have here is the book, the People of the Book Monument. So it's a book of love among nations created by Italian sculptor Vincenzo Bignaccia in the year 2000. It's a form recalling the prehistoric dolmens and megalithic stories that are found around Nebo. So it's a sort of his interpretation of everything that's happened around here in Nebo. Written in the Greek inscriptions, God is love. The Latin text written on the cover pages disclaims one God. The Arabic text says God is love. So yeah, it's a monument to this area. I can't believe how beautiful and cool it is in the shade, breeze on top of the mountain. It's absolutely lovely. So, the Franciscan custody of the Holy Land, Mount Nebo, Ziga, Memorial of Moses. And it's a Christian holy place. I'm not by any means that religious, but I do, but coming from a Christian schooling, I understand what these things are and the historical significance as well as a religious. Olive trees all around here. A lot of these have been here for a long time. What appears to be an arid landscape, it actually looks quite fertile, and it's what you grow, I guess. So what we have here is at Abu Bad, the rolling stone used as a fortified door of Byzantine monastery in the old village of Farsala, once known as Kufa Abdu Bad. Quite a huge stone. Take a lot of people to roll that. Presented quite nicely up here. It's as a fan in Jordan so far. People are very friendly, the place is clean. People are actually lovely here, really lovely. Not the top touristy site, so it's not over busy, but quite good. Like the same museum here. Just to give you an idea where we are, there's the Dead Sea. That's where I stayed last night. Mount Nebo, Dead Sea, where I'm heading down to today. Old artefacts, Byzantine pottery, fragments of the wall of mosaics, about 6th century AD, which we saw in Mount Nebo earlier today. Kibbutz al-Makah, town of Nebo, stone tools from the Paleolithic era. So some of these are 1.5 millions BP to the Neolithic, 5,000 years BP. Wow. Pottery. The 6th millstone of a Roman road. From 6th to the 9th century AD, old pottery. Some Greek inscriptions in the church. John Paul II, Mount Nebo. Certainly a place to visit if you're a Christian. Some of the ruins there, because this was like a monastery, so the Franciscans would have been living here, working here, etc. Just as Moses lifted up the serpent in the desert, the Son of Man must be lifted up, so that everyone who believes in him may have eternal life. No, you go. So this is where Moses stood on top of Mount Nebo and overlooked the promised land. And you can see down there in the distance that it comes out of the mountains down to quite a fertile looking area. The promised land. For all you Christians that went to Bible study. So you've got to be very quiet here. So this is the monastery, obviously carpeted over. I think it's actually a church, so I'll have to take my hat off. That's what I should do. Mosaics are unbelievable. there. Probably one of the holiest places inside Jerusalem. Christians. So this whole floor would have been mosaics. Obviously, they've pulled them up, put them on the wall, or they could have, could have been destroyed. But when you look at the floor here, it does look like the whole floor would have been mosaics. As you can see there. And as I do for Mum and Dad, used to be just for Mum, but now it's Dad too.
So when was the new part put in? 1900s. In the last 100 years, the new roof. Very new. But this was all original.
Well, that was the Franciscan church. The holy relics, quite an important part for Christians. One day for a while. Right, duck. Paul II planted this olive tree.
4 years.
How many? 20.
I have a holy second relic of Pope John Paul's that I got from the church in Krakow. When I was in Krakow. As an offering. There it is. A lot of kitty cats around here. Okay, quite interesting. Yeah, it's you don't have to be religious to come here. I'm by no means religious, but this is historical, and the fact that I went to a Christian school, a boarding school, you were taught all about these things, so you have an understanding of what it is you're looking at. So this is sort of different rooms on the Cigarha monastery, the old monastery, Franciscan monastery. But this is still run today by the Franciscan monks, and it's absolutely spotless and clean. Up on the hill here, it's nice. There's a breeze. So, yeah, I think that's look around. They've obviously covered it to preserve it, and there's still actually a church. So, yeah. And there. So yeah, worth coming to. It's not covered by the Jordan Pass, by the way. It's 3 Jordanian dinar, not a lot. Definitely worth coming to. Tell you something, getting just back to tours and how quiet it is, and what I have noticed is instead of the big tour buses turning up, you have these tour buses now that hold 10, 12 people. That sort of seems to be, instead of the big numbers of 30, 40, those sort of numbers, it's yeah, I think that's a sign of what's happening, because it's definitely not because of the heat here in Roman Jordan. It's beautiful compared to Egypt. Yeah, I noticed in Egypt too, a lot of the smaller buses that hold 10, 12, so I think the tour companies are using that type of setup now to maximise seating in buses and that sort of thing.